Fine. Okay, you ready? Get ready to clap in 3, 2, 1.
Was I supposed to clap as well?
No.
We'll just do it from there. It'll be funny. Hello, and welcome to the And Everything Inbetween Podcast, the #1 podcast on the internet for Peter Molyneux fans. And I'm joined here by Dan, my bro, my friend. Hello.
Hello, I am no longer Jeff.
And we're here to talk about the gaming industry and everything in between.
Hang on, wait, am I not here? I'm a person.
We're also joined by Tony.
Hey,
he's here.
hi.
And so, Tony, as I've rudely belittled you, what have you been playing or watching this week?
I know you've just been on my Steam page, and you may or may not have seen, I may have accidentally played a lot of hours in Space Engineers.
300 hours of Space Engineers.
Yeah,
Was it not
I've played
384 hours?
I've played about 75 hours over the past 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Don't quote me.
Don't quote me. Well,
No,
we have the
please
exact numbers, so...
Yeah.
Is that it? What have you been doing on Space Engineers? Because I'm someone who
I've
still
had quite a busy week, but yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Well, let's face it, if you add up the number of hours there are in a week and look at the number of hours that Tony has played Space Engineers, there's not much time
Yeah, all
left
the
for
free time
anything
went to
else.
Space Engineers.
Yeah, what have you been doing on Space Engineers? Like, you've been building anything in particular? Or...
Yeah. I wanted to see if I could make like a base that went from orbit, then land on a planet, and take off again. That's what I've been designing.
Well, you're someone who baited me into buying Space Engineers before it was finished.
That is me.
Because I said, I've got £17, and you go, well, Space Engineers cost £17.
Yeah.
And then there was nothing to do in the game apart from build spaceships.
Space Engineers isn't the one where
it's
you
in
have
the game.
text-to-speech
It's in the
to
name
talk
of the
to
game.
each other, is it?
Hmm?
Is that the one where you can use text-to-speech
No, that's
to
like
talk to each other?
fucking Moonbase Alpha.
Oh,
or
that's the
some
one.
shit.
Oh, that's great. I love all those videos. John Madden.
No, Space Engineers is pretty good, but the problem I had with the game was that
There's no aims.
there's not really anything to do.
No.
It's kind of got Minecraft syndrome.
Yeah.
Where you kind of build stuff and then...
It's a game for creative
when
types, I guess. Like a big
when
collection
the
of
planet-
types.
Yeah,
When the planets
I haven't
came out,
played it
there was
since
more
they
stuff
added
to do.
planets. So they've actually added planets you can go
Yeah.
down and do stuff on, which might be
Yeah,
quite
that's really added a lot of stuff to do, but
Isn't
at
there
the moment they're going into
pirates and
optimization.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it would be very much interesting. You had a lot more NPCs and people
There's
to fight. And
at the
stuff.
moment there's like 3 factions technically. There's like hostile mobs, there's like animals like cyber hounds and space spiders. And then you have pirates, and then you have like a random faction that just like transports materials.
Yeah, if you want to check out a creative game with a very interesting destruction physics system, Space Engineers is
really good.
Pretty good.
From like the video content I've seen of it, I think the last video I saw was before they'd actually added the NPC logic for the NPCs. So you could see the art styles and you could set yourself as them, but you couldn't actually play against them. But the videos that I've been watching, they're pretty impressive. People building these massive, like, huge dreadnought class size ships and just ramming them into other people and like saying, I've made sure like my reactor is at the dead center so that doesn't blow up really easy. It seemed pretty cool.
Yeah,
Many things to think of. Yeah.
You've spoke a lot of Subnautica, haven't you?
Yeah, fair amount. Subnautica's a bit. I wouldn't class Subnautica as the same kind of level of creativity as Space
I think it's a lot
Engineers.
easier to get into.
It is, but that's because instead of like, I class Subnautica as the same kind of game as possibly something like. Have you seen? What's it called? You're like stranded on. Oh, it's called Stranded Deep. You basically get like, I think there's a plane crash and then there's an island nearby and you have to go swimming, collect resources, build a base. It's kind of cool looking game. And Subnautica is the same sort of thing, where you can be semi-creative in what you can build, but you're still using like limited. I think it's actually built in Unity. I can't remember. I think it is, and it's limited Unity assets that all connect together in a really specific way. Whereas with Space Engineers, it's like the same kind of level as, I don't know if you've seen. What's it called? It's like Robocraft, I think.
Yeah.
Where everything's made out of like triangles and squares, and you put thrusters
Yeah.
on, and you give them a certain amount, so you can be much more flexible. It's more of a Lego game.
I think
a
like,
fixed asset game that Subnautica is.
This isn't like hard code as it is, but like a lot of times, like a few hours in, like a pirate raiding base will appear on your HUD, and then they'll start like closing on your position. That kind of changes a lot because you need to have ammo, you need to have turrets and things to protect yourself.
I found the entry level for Space Engineers was a lot higher than I was willing to put in.
Yeah.
One of the nice
things.
Go ahead, Toby.
I was gonna say it's not as bad as From the Depths though. That's not a learning curve. That's just like a learning wall that you have to scale up.
Subnautica's pretty good at that actually. Subnautica starts you off with the most basic sort of ideas about what's going on, and it fits the theme, right? Because it's also set in the future. You're on board this massive spaceship. The idea, I think, is that it's either the Earth is doomed or just humanity is so far evolved they send out these massive arcs essentially that are capable of terraforming planets. And your one is in space. It reaches the planet and it suffers a malfunction. It crashes into the ocean. Everyone on board is dead. You are the only human left alive in like an escape pod, and it gives you limited few resources and just basically tells you go out into the water. You'll be protected by your suit. Break up some pieces of limestone, and then there's a few simple recipes you can find. You find bits of the ship, like the massive ship that's exploding in the background. Right?
Are you trying to rebuild your civilization then? Like, from one person?
Right now, I don't think it's got that level of story to it. Right? It's basically at this point it's survival.
It sounds really interesting, actually.
Subnautica is actually a really good game.
I've seen some gameplay from Sip's channel. I think it looks quite interesting.
It's a good game, but the problem is it is still early access, and it's nowhere near complete. But the devs are really good at adding stuff. Like they quite frequently listen to like what people want. Notable like what are they called? People who are influencers, right? Like Jacksepticeye, for example, didn't like a few things about the game, the way the game worked, so he gave a fairly critical opinion.
Was it a paid promotion?
No, I don't think so, not at all. And then they modified the game for him because he likes those kind of dev kind of stuff, and they changed a bunch of stuff that was actually pretty cool, and it's been expanding from there. So they started off and they were like, here's a little submarine, and then you can build this bigger submarine, and people are like, well, I want to be able to dock my submarine into my base, which I can build. Like, okay, we'll build that. And then they say, here's some upgrades you can make to your little submarine, the Seamoth. You can add little torpedoes, and it's kind of clever in the way it works because it's very simple on the attack and offense side of things, because there's no real guns in it, right? You can't get spears or harpoons. It's all, here's a stasis rifle that will hold something in place, and you can only use a knife. You're definitely like, it's you against the rest of the creatures. Most of the creatures are in what's called the shallow zone, are fairly neutral, and they act as food, but there are some massive hostile creatures out there.
I think being underwater is very scary. I think it's one of the scariest atmospheres. If you're in like the dark depths, you can't see what's in front of you, you can't see what's behind you, you can't see what's to your side, you can't see what's above you, and you also can't see what's below you.
And worse than that, you can hear what is around you. Some of the sound design for this game, the speed of sound is also higher and amazing. It's super impressive.
But I think, what have you been playing or watching this week?
Yeah, okay, well, I actually haven't been playing much Subnautica. That was just kind of more tangible. Yeah. I played Firewatch. I think I completed it last weekend. There's a lot of hype
for that game, but I watched someone play it, and it was only like 5 hours.
It's not a long game. It's not a long game. No. I paid £14.99, or your original equivalent, on Steam. And I still think I got my money's worth for it, because it was an enjoyable experience. Because
story-driven game.
Yeah, I know that I don't think you like what you would probably class as walking simulators.
I don't like walking simulators.
Yeah, so stuff like Dear Esther, for example.
The only one I've enjoyed is when they make it into a comedy. I really enjoyed the Stanley Parable.
Stanley Parable and The Curious Tale of, I can't remember, it's the one that's got Simon, I think, from the Oxcast in it.
I hate Simon from the Oxcast.
I think, I know what you're talking about. I like that one as well.
It's a game that basically they released only the trailer, and they said it was going to be free on Steam, and they were like, here's what it's going to be like, and then the game was nothing like it.
Yahtzee did a review of Everyone's Gone to the Rapture, and the best line was, walking simulators are kind of like trying to read a book that's been tied to the back end of a nervous gazelle.
This is that I wouldn't necessarily say that this falls into that category. It had enough story in it to keep it really interesting. So the basic premise of the game, to let me kind of like set this out for you guys, is you answer some really simple questions at the very beginning of the game that, as it tells a story about who you are and your wife and how you would respond to these questions that are given to you.
Does that affect the game?
And it changes nothing, basically.
Oh.
It's one of those ones where it's basically makes you think about what it is you would do, but then everyone's core experience is going to be mostly the same. You're then basically, to cut a long beginning part short, it punts you into a really picturesque, and the art style of this game is amazing.
It does look very beautiful.
Yeah, it's a national park near Boulder, I think, in America, and it's set in like 1982 or 1985 or something. And you are, for reasons that will become clear if you play the game, you want to get away from your normal life in order to become what's called a fire warden. You go into this national park, you live in this massive tower, you're tasked with keeping an eye out for any fires that might start, report them so they can either get put out, and you're left basically for the first day to your own devices until you reach your tower after you hike towards it, and that's when you meet the only other companion really you have in the game, called Delilah. And Delilah is someone else who is in a warden in the same national park, but you only ever talk to her via this walkie-talkie. So she's never present. There's no other physical entities that could be, I guess, seen as human in the game that I think you ever really come across. And I don't think that's a spoiler, because that's pretty much been talked about a lot in the media.
There's a feel of loneliness.
Yeah, but it's really good.
If you're building a walking simulator, really good aesthetics is really important, because that's story and aesthetics are two of the main features of your game.
But what Yahtzee was saying in his review of Gone to the Rapture is like, you're not a part of the story, you're just looking at the story through like a glass window.
This is kind of different, right? It's
it sounds different.
It's the same kind of thing where you are basically retreading the same steps, but you can retread them in your own way, because there will sometimes be multiple ways to get to a next objective. Sometimes I think, in fact, you can completely ignore objectives and go straight to like a main goal. But the actual choices you make are nothing really that will affect the story, but they will affect your relationship with Delilah. So what will happen is you will spot something, and then you get a prompt on the screen that I think is like really weirdly tied to either like the scroll wheel or tab or some button that was confusing. But anyway, you bring up your walkie-talkie and you say something to Delilah. And though the basic premise of what you're saying is always going to be the same, like, I've seen this thing and it's on fire, the way you can present it to her can either be like cheeky, can be rude, or it can be really subdued. And then she'll come back with different quips. I have to say as well, the voice acting is on point for this game. It is some of the most real. You feel like these conversations really could have taken place, because the emotions that they portray through this game are just they're so accurate to what normal people I think would actually experience. It's quite stunning, really. And based on that, your experience changes. Based on how you talk to Delilah. Like, I think only once did I play the game, and I don't know if you can make it happen more often, but I kind of pissed Delilah off, and at one point she left her post. She said she just needed to go outside and think for herself for a while, and that meant I then couldn't radio things into her, so it just said Delilah's not there right now, and that was something that was really weird, because it actually changed how I played the game after. So I always want to be able to talk to Delilah, I don't want to piss her off again. So it's a pretty interesting game. I enjoyed it to the point where I don't usually sink anything into any games past my expectations of them and thinking, okay, I'm just going to play this game and then it's a one and done kind of thing. I really like single player games, but I enjoyed this game.
Well, I think we all like single player games, but walking simulator is a different kind.
I don't think it's your kind of game.
It's kind of almost not a game, more of an experience.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I can't like this premise though. I can't like these games myself. Like,
I'm talking specifically about
this sounds.
I don't think it's his kind of thing. But what I was going to say is actually halfway through, well, not even halfway, quite early on in the game, you find a camera. And I don't know if I've shown you this yet, but you find a camera, and the camera is just basically just said to you, it's still got some film in it, maybe you want to take some pictures, maybe you want to make some memories. And then events happen throughout the game, and you kind of have choices where you say, do I want to take a picture of this and keep it as evidence, or do I want to take a picture of this really nice scenery? And I had no idea that this last part was going to happen, but it turns out there is an option once you finish the game to actually get that the pictures you took in the game developed and then sent to you in real life. So I actually did that because it was pretty cheap. It was actually kind of really nice art style, and got sent to me. I think it was something in the region of about £15, and that was shipped from the US as well. I'm pretty sure. So it's
free shipping.
Yeah, I think so. It was a really easy process to buy. It literally says once you finish the game, here is your code.
Do you know what kind of quality the photos are? Or
really good.
They are.
They're standard like print out size that you get if you got photos developed from an actual camera. Kodak camera, and it's they're good quality glossy prints. Actually, the way they're presented to you is as if you are that character that played. So it arrives and it's in its normal bag, and then inside that is like, here are your Photodome prints, and they're glossy, and they've got a few tick boxes done, and the name Henry's written on them. It's really sweet. I think it was a really nice addition to have, and it did help me to kind of look back on them, and I thought, I played that game in a way that was really unique to myself, because people may not have taken those same pictures, So overall I enjoyed Firewatch. It was short, but I like that myself because obviously I have a full-time job, and I prefer quick one and done things these days. But it was enjoyable.
It's failed mine and Tony's game cost analysis where we go a pound per hour. You've come a little short.
But I think, as you said though, you can replay it though, so I don't think for you, Joe, that definitely doesn't work.
Is there multiple endings?
I don't want to say too much about the ending of the game, but there are multiple endings, but they're nothing special.
It's worth playing. You say it's worth playing through again though.
Is it multiple? Is it multiple paths, same ending?
I think so, pretty much. Whatever's going to happen, but what I actually think is kind of clever is those pictures I was talking about before. If you wanted to get some really nice aesthetic art style pictures developed, if you did what I did, which is take pictures of the events that were happening as evidence, you would probably think, I don't really want to get those developed. I'll play through it again and take really nice pictures of the surroundings, and then I'll get those sent to me, which is a really clever way of doing things if you think about it.
It's a really clever way to make more money by getting people to buy photos.
Yeah, exactly.
You crafty bastards.
But it's an interesting idea, and it actually made the game mean a little bit more to me.
You had an epiphany and you rethought your life.
Yep, I stared
Firewatch, IGN, 10 out of 10. So, in contrast, this week I've been playing Diablo, non-stop Diablo.
So we've all played one game?
I've been playing a few other things, but they're not...
Okay.
They're stuff we've talked about before.
Mainly just farming, grinding. I absolutely love grinding. I don't know why. I've been brainwashed by Blizzard to love their games and grinding on their games.
Tony Hawk, right? Grinding?
Yeah,
okay.
Blizzard Skaters is the new game coming out. But you just go on with a couple of friends, and you just, even though you know it's repetitive and you're doing the same thing over, it just feels fun, and there's like tons of achievements and gear you stuff. You always feel like you're becoming better and leveling up, and you're gaining experience and stuff, and there's tons of stuff you can do. Like today, me and my friends, there's an achievement to get like a new profile banner thing where you have to play through the story again, and you think, that lets you play through the story again, but the thing is they want you to play through the story again in under an hour, which means you really have to optimize all your gear for speed. So we're just like, I need to put this speed gem into my helmet, and I need someone to... my job was I was standing next to the quest giver, and I had to quickly scroll through all the dialogue to make sure we could do the story in under an hour. And, the achievements and stuff really give a lot of replayability, and I think even if you were just someone who bought the game, played through the story and never touched it again, I think it would be quite a fun experience. But it does have hours and hours of replayability, especially since they've added the seasons to it. I think on
Blizzard are good at that. Blizzard are good at adding silly stuff to their more serious games as well. It's
yeah, I've played through the 3 secret levels. There's one where
they seem to add them in like really good places. Like it doesn't seem like
So
it is
there's
out of
these-
place, but in a good way.
there's these things called treasure goblins,
Mhm.
and when you're playing, they come out and they've got little bags of sacks, and they're like, chase after me, and they drop gold, and you kill them. And sometimes they drop a portal back to where they came out of, and in the lore they're the servants of the Lord of Greed, and you can go inside of it, and there's this vault full of gold, and you can kill Greed, the Lord of Greed, and get a load of money. There's also the not the cow level, which is the cow level, where you go in and you kill a bunch of cows, and then there's the one called Whimsydale, which is like Happy Rainbow and Sunshines, where you go around slaughtering teddy bears and unicorns.
basically Pyrovision.
Yeah,
Nice.
but yeah, I think I got Andy to play Diablo, and he's addicted to it instantly. So I've put like over 100 hours into it already. I think it's one of those games where if you like leveling and grinding and that sort of thing, you'll just really get into it. And it's a lot of fun with friends and a lot of fun by yourself. Couldn't recommend it enough. Something I did want to talk about, Tony. You know my my list of things that are going to be big and going to be not so big.
It's been updated, hasn't it?
Well, there's a new MMO coming out called Chronicles of Illyria,
Yeah.
which has been hyped up a lot. And
Chronicles of
Yeah.
Malaria. What?
Chronicles of Illyria.
Yeah, Malaria, the new
But
game. From
They've
Dan.
just hyped it up. They're saying, we're going to have, you can play as the bad guy. You become the boss of the dungeon and stuff.
Yeah.
And they've released an engine trailer or gameplay, quote unquote.
Yeah, I don't
and
like. It seems so big and expansive for what they've
I
shown.
think they're kickstarting in it. It seems way too ambitious to ever get off the ground.
I haven't actually
I think
seen
it's
the
going to be a
Kickstarter.
failure.
Have they
It's
actually like mentioned like how they're gonna like do these things? Like the
How
trailer
they're gonna-
doesn't show anything.
No, not really. They've just
Okay.
had like a concept trailer of showing like the buildings and stuff like that. But no, it's no golf MMO. It's not gonna be a big game. It's no winning putt.
No, okay.
Well, at least if you back winning putt, you're going to get the 250 Bandai Namco golf balls and the visor.
I think Joe. I think from this, is it going to be big? I think you might be, instead of being 5-0 down, I think you might actually get a goal. You might be 5-1.
Yeah, I win.
We have to see though, but I might be wrong here as well.
But so we'll go on to the first topic, which is this week, because we have Dan on, will be about trying to sell Tony another board game. Now, this week we'll talk about Coup.
Yep. So this week we're talking about Coup, which is, as I teased last time, a hidden roles game set in the universe of another board game called The Resistance.
I hadn't played this
Nope.
when you said it last time,
Yeah.
but now I have.
Yep, so now we have had a quick round, and it is a quick game. It's very, very
It's
easy
quick
to
and
pick up.
fun
Yeah.
and easy.
How
basic-
quick is quick?
So one round, typically, depending on the amount that people
It's
playing, probably
a
takes
card
about...
game.
Yeah, well, kind of. It's. I'll explain how it works in a minute, but to answer your question, Tony, one round usually takes about 5 minutes.
Generally,
Not
card
much more than
games
that.
are a bit quicker than
Yeah,
board
yeah.
games.
But the way it works is there are 5 characters. There are cards which represent those characters. There are actions that those characters can do. Some are specific to the characters. There are actions which everyone can do, and there is a pot of currency in the center. Right.
Right.
So the deck consists of 3 copies of each of the 5 characters. So there is the ambassador, there is the captain, there is the duke, there is the assassin, and there is the contessa.
Right.
And I will explain to you roughly what they do in a moment. To start with, I will explain some general setup stuff. Everyone starts with 2 coins. Actions cost coins depending on what type of action it is. Some actions are free because, for example, you're taking currency for one action. So that's one action that everyone can do. Everyone can take 1 coin. That cannot be blocked. No one can stop people from doing that. One action, people, that anyone can do is you can take foreign aid, which is where you take 2 coins. But one of the Duke's abilities is to say, no, I'm the Duke, I'm blocking that. You can take tax if you are the Duke. That's his other ability.
The captain can steal
coins. The
coins.
captain can steal coins, and he can block stealing, as can the ambassador. The ambassador has the ability to change cards, and that will become more important in a moment. And the only other action that anyone really can do is coup people.
Assassin.
Yeah, so I'll go through the specific things that each of the classes can do first. But there's 3 things that everyone can do. You can either take income tax, you can take foreign aid, so that's either 1 coin, 2 coins, or you can coup someone, which is where you pay 7 coins to make someone lose influence.
Fuck your friends over.
Yep.
Right.
So
Sounds interesting already, actually. I quite like the sound of it.
Yep. So, basic startup.
It gets more interesting.
You have all of the cards, you shuffle them, and you deal face down 2 cards to everyone playing at the table. They basically represent their lives, and they tell those players who they are. And they look at them, and then the game begins. It doesn't really matter who goes first. And then you do one of any of the actions listed on there, because you represent that you have whatever card you like. So, you could be the Contessa and the Duke. The Contessa's ability is to block being assassinated. The Duke's ability is to take tax. But you could say, I am the captain, I am stealing 2 coins from Joe. Now, the way this works is people basically second guess you and they go, okay, I'm going to let that happen because they don't have enough information to go on, or they call you on it. If they call you on it and they are correct, you lose a card. If they call you on it and you were telling the truth, then they lose a card. When you lose both of your cards, you're out. Then there's a bit of reshuffling stuff that goes on. So obviously if you lose a card because someone called you but you were telling the truth, that would be a downside. So then it gets shuffled back into the deck. You get a new card out that nobody knows about, so you can continue to either lie or tell the truth or represent you are something else. And it's that simple. Basically, the last player left who has a card or 2 cards, last one standing wins. So to explain the different actions that all the characters can do, the ambassador can exchange cards and block stealing. So he can say, I draw 2 new cards, I look at all 4 of them, and then I secretly put 2 back and shuffle the deck so no one knows what was in there. This is good for 2 reasons.
Bullshit.
You can call bullshit on that, but no one ever calls bullshit on the ambassador, because you always tell the truth about it. I've never seen anyone actually...
Nobody's ever lied about being the ambassador.
Because it's so boring. But he also blocks stealing, which is quite good. And changing cards if you have terrible cards or what you perceive to be terrible cards is good for another reason as well, because it actually gives you some information about what's in the deck. So when someone else says, for example, you are... I'm the Duke, whereas you've got 2 Duke cards and you just shuffled another one back in there. You can.
This sounds quite interesting, actually. This sounds like a lot like a game that I've played before. It's a board game as well, which is based upon Terry Pratchett's Discord universe called Ankh-Morpork.
Oh yeah, I haven't actually heard of that one myself. I know of the Discord universe.
It's actually really good. The only difference is you get handed out who you are at the start, but there's only 1 or 2 cards allow you to change who you are.
Okay.
But you can't really swap out.
The only person who can do that is the ambassador. But again, you can represent that you are the ambassador, regardless of what cards you've got. So it's a bluffing game about saying, I am this person.
As soon as you get called out on a bluff, and you have to show that you have that card, then you draw another one.
Yeah. So what happens basically is if you did something someone incorrectly called, you don't fail, but they do. And to make the game easier as time goes on, because that person's lost their card, it goes face up in the centre. So then everyone knows one of those things is missing. So then they know, okay, well, that's 1 Duke face up on the table. 3 people are saying they're the Duke. I know I am one of them. One of these people or 2 of these people must be lying, potentially.
You can use information and make educated guesses.
Yeah.
So do you know how many Duke cards there are?
Yes, because there's 3 of every type of card. So there are 3 Dukes, 3 Contessas, 3 Assassins, 3 Captains, 3 Ambassadors. And that's pretty much all there is to it. The currency becomes important because of what people can do with it. 7 is the requirement to kill someone, and that can't be blocked. If you reach 10 coins, you have to kill someone. And that basically, when I say kill someone, it's called cooing them. That's when they lose one of their cards. It's called losing influence in the game. Unless you are the assassin can pay 3 instead in order to assassinate someone, but the Contessa blocks that from happening. So they could be lying about the fact that they are the assassin, in which case someone could say, I don't think you are, I'm calling bullshit on that. So they could be wrong.
So say we us three are playing, and you decide to try and assassinate Joe, and I pretend to be... Was it the
Contessa.
That's it.
Usually,
no, I have to have Contessa.
Well, no, technically, he could say I'm blocking that as the Contessa.
Oh, you can block someone else's.
But I don't know why you would.
Yeah.
It's not... I don't think I've ever seen anyone do it for any particular reason.
I would have
just
a reason.
Play mind games. Yeah, purely to play mind games, it would be... Or to try and build alliances, etc. Coup is the kind of game... It's another one of these games where the less of a perceived threat that you are, the better your chances. And that's pretty much it.
Maybe if you...
But I could see
assassination because the person next to them
has more money. I don't know. There's something.
I have.
Would be relevant, but...
I could think of like one scenario where you'd want to stop an assassination from someone else. Say like Joe had only like 2 cards
because
left.
it was somebody's turn next, and they had enough cards to.
Yeah,
I see. Yeah.
But say like Joe was down. Like if he were to be assassinated, he'd be down to his last card. That's closer to the other person like being railing on me. If there's 2 people, then they have to deal with both of us.
That's true, but then you've also messed with yourself, and you're putting yourself out there as well. Because bear in mind, you might not have the Contessa. You'll know what you have, obviously, but you could represent you've got the Contessa, but it could backfire because if you don't, then you lose influence. Quite interesting events that happen. For example. Someone can say, I am going to assassinate you, and you say, I am going to block that as the Contessa.
Right.
If that happens and they say, no, I'm calling bullshit, you're not the Contessa, you're straight out. Because the action always goes through if it turns out that the other person was lying. Yeah. So one of your cards gets assassinated, and you made a false call, which means you lose another influence.
Yeah. But if the assassination was bullshit and he said bullshit, then he would lose a card.
Yeah. So those encounters are always quite interesting to go down. And then you get the more clever players who start looking and thinking, well, that guy's getting too many coins, I need to stop him getting it, so I'll represent, or I have the captain, so I'll steal 2 coins from him, and people don't suspect that as much.
It's a game. It's kind of like poker, where you're kind of bluffing and calling bullshit on people. Yeah,
it's a very poker face game. If you've got a good poker face, you'll be quite good at coup. If you have a terrible poker face like me, but you also have no idea what you're doing, you'll probably still be quite good at coup. Because it's good for anyone to play.
Yeah, it's a really good game to get into card games or board games.
Yeah, it's another one of these games which I've classified as opener games.
Space Tea.
Yeah, games that are quite easy to pick up, play, explain, and think, oh, that was a good bit of fun. What some criticisms I have of the game, I don't think it's particularly cheap for what it is. I think last check it was about £22 on Amazon.
That's I would pay like £10.
And all it comes with is 15 cards. They're nice looking cards, but still 15 cards and a bunch of counters that represent money. You could play this game yourself. You could print this game out off, make your own cards, and
you could do
just
cut. Any game.
Well, true, but this one specifically, right? Because there's basically no assets. It's 15 cards and like 30 coins. You don't need any more than that.
Okay, so it's a bit overpriced for what it is.
Yeah, but the replayability factor for
very fun game,
and the fact how fun that I personally think it is what really sold me as
it's
it
fun,
being
has a lot of replayability, and has a low skill requirement.
Very much a low skill ceiling. It's not skill ceiling. Low barrier to entry as well. Yeah. So. And that's pretty much coup.
I'm already sold.
Right.
So although the price might be quite high though.
Yeah, it is. You're buying for a high price.
But I think to be fair, that's kind of I have a problem with many board/card games. The price though. So I still think that's like say like £22. Did you say? I can't remember now.
I will have a cursory check to see how cheap you could find coup on Amazon for
wouldn't pay-
your.
So 15 cards and a few counters for say like £25 max. I would
£12,
still.
I'd pay that.
Yeah, that's actually a lot cheaper. That's gone down by quite a
How
lot.
much
So
is it?
that's
Gone down
£12
by
19 now.
Yeah, definitely then.
Yeah. Oh, that's much less than I got a friend of mine to
Can I
pay
make
at work. Sorry, Mike.
I'd,
Go ahead, Toby.
I think maybe we can like do it the other way around. Like next time you're on, I'll try and sell you Ankh-Morpork.
No, you certainly could.
Yeah, that'd be really
That'd be
fun.
a cool.
Actually.
That'd be an interesting.
I'm actually really hankering to play that game now, just because
If
you
anyone
mentioned this game.
If anyone has played Love Letter, it's like a reverse Love Letter.
What coup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot like Love Letter.
It's,
I have not, so
Yeah. One thing I will say as well is if you like these sorts of hidden role games, there are other games which are based in the same universe, the Resistance universe, made by the
it
same
does like a
company.
good universe.
Yeah, who are make a game that we played, another one we played, which we'll save for another time, but called Avalon. And Avalon is a game where you basically are Knights of the Round Table, or you are Merlin.
I didn't like that game that much.
You did what? Okay, but again, we'll leave that for another time. But hidden role games like that are really good fun. The Resistance is a good one to pick up, but needs a fair few people. Avalon again needs 5 people. This can be played with a minimum of 3 players.
Some of my favourites have got to be Sheriff of Nottingham was really fun.
Yeah, Sheriff of Nottingham was a good game. It's a shame I broke Bradley's copy immediately. Again, sorry, Bradley.
What's that space one called? The one with
Cosmic Encounter.
Cosmic Encounter is an amazing game, but it's
super high barrier
not
to
an
entry.
entry game.
Yeah, super high barrier to entry.
I didn't think it was that bad
okay.
though.
I think
Yeah.
if you
You've got
considering
Katie and Anna to play
is this
it,
going to
that's
be
true.
is this going to be a game that's going to be sold to me? Because I don't think that's going to be necessarily a problem. Like, I
What,
don't-
a game called Cosmic Encounter? Yeah, not a hard sell for
It's
Toby.
amazing, Toby. It's a game about space aliens. You'll love it.
Also, like being hard to get into. Like as I said earlier, is like I put like 100 hours into
Yeah, it's
From
true.
the Depths, which just has
Right,
a
well,
wall.
we're going off board games now. It's not a board game show. We're now going on to talk about a virtual reality headset called the HTC Valve. Oh, I'm holding a HTC phone and Daniel's pointing at it like.
I don't know. I thought it was exciting than usual. It's my old phone. I don't know why I'm so excited by it, but.
But yeah, you've actually pre-purchased the Vive, and we talked about virtual reality on the other week where we talked about the Oculus, and we had no clue what the Vive was. So if you want to fill us in,
So, put yourself into where we were when we last talked about the Rift, right? And we discussed about how immersive it was, basically, when you're sat in a chair. Now imagine that same environment again, but being stood up in a small room and being able to walk around it and use your hands to interact with
I did say
objects.
when I played the Oculus that I felt like it would have been a better experience if I had something to hold on to, and I think the Vive is going where I want VR to be going.
So to be clear, the Rift at launch, I believe, does not come with controllers. I believe they are an option. It comes with an Xbox One controller, but it does not come with motion controllers. I should be clear. It's they, I believe, are going to be optional extras. But my pre-order at like £698.99, and then shipping on top, comes with the controllers. It comes with the headset itself. And it comes with 2 games. One is Job Simulator, and I can't remember the other one. It's basically
I remember
the Valve
saying this,
Portal demo.
showing this to Tony. I was like, Job Simulator sounds like an Unity asset flip. Yeah.
And I think to an
I
extent
think
it will be.
It looked interesting in some way.
Yeah, I think it'll have limited playability, but of the Rift games I used to play that I'm now excited to play, I like anything Portal. Even the fact that it's just a tech demo is going to be super fun for me. And I've played other games such as Windlands. That would be pretty cool.
We've been playing Valve games for like over 10 years now. So.
Yeah. Should we like make a comparison between like the Vive and the Oculus then, from what we know? Because like I'm kind of on the team of Oculus at the moment, Dan. And
You're in the Oculus camp.
I'll explain why. Okay, I'll explain why I'm not with the Vive. Have you seen Elite Dangerous?
Dangerous.
So we were actually talking about this earlier.
Right.
I own Elite Dangerous
Yep, so
based
do I.
on a recommendation from a friend, and
Yep.
one of the main reasons I bought it was because I had the Rift. And I never got around to setting it up, but I've now made a mandate not to play it until I get my Vive.
Okay.
Because the immersive nature of being able to look around a cockpit and actually physically use the motion controllers that, again, the Vive comes with to just grab a control toggle or something and retract my fuel scoop, etc.
That's
would be
fine.
So good.
I'm absolutely fine with that. I agree. Like the Vive can do everything the Oculus can, pretty much.
Yeah.
But the Vive is far more expensive.
And I think you're going to need a big room to be able to
Yeah,
play
I personally don't want to have to stand up. None of my, like, anywhere my computer's set up, I have enough room, like, all around me to stand up and then do 360 around me.
Having to corner off a room and, you know, set it up would be something that really put me off.
But for Elite Dangerous, though, you just sit in your chair, you look around your spacecraft, push the buttons with, like, probably like a joystick, because that's kind of what you really want.
Power stick or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, how is the Elite Dangerous enhanced by the Vive rather than the Rift?
So I don't know. I don't know whether at this point in time, it's something we should probably look up, is whether there is Vive support either planned or current.
Because
for,
I know
Elite Dangerous.
I think it was Told Biscuit said that probably one of the best VR experience was just to have Elite Dangerous with a joystick.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
That was kind of like the best experience he's had.
Yeah. So So based on what things that you've said, I'm pretty sure that you could have the same experience with the Vive, because the motion tracking sensors, though they go in corners, top right and like top left, like adjacent each other corners of the room, the sensors are actually on the on the headset itself. There is no reason why you could not sit down at a desk and still be tracked exactly the same as you could with the Oculus Rift.
Yeah,
but
how is that adding more than the Rift?
It's not adding. I don't think that's the other one. I don't think it is cheaper than the Rift. I think that the Vive at last check was coming out as cheaper.
It's $800 compared to $600 of the Rift.
Yeah.
Oh, it was $600. Okay, that's where I was getting confused. I was confusing with the pounds and with dollars. But honestly, one of the biggest things that has sold me on this is Steam VR and the fact that Valve are backing the Vive.
Well, Steam VR is available on the Oculus.
It's true, because they want the uptake of VR.
Yeah.
But personally,
I'm glad they're funding that.
Personally for me, anything with Steam's backing, I can't, really remember too many games in recent history where Steam have just gone, this is a complete flop, we're abandoning it.
That's what I was.
They still tweak TF2 to this day to try and get matchmaking right.
The thing that was annoying me though, that recently Steam and Valve's come away from desktop computers and they're kind of trying to push headsets, controllers, couch gaming. I was like, when was the last time Steam did something for desktop?
2014, I think.
This is actually another problem as well. I think that's another solid talking point about VR in general is if you look at the minimum specs, and I'm talking minimum specs for the entry into VR, I think the minimum that's recommended is an i5 something or other and a GTX 970 or AMD equivalent. Yeah. That's what I have in my machine. So I am meeting the minimum. And if you want,
I think it's a Radeon Fury.
Yeah, something like an X7X or
I don't use AMD.
Like yeah.
How much VRAM is that, by the way?
I don't know, but that's the whole point of the necessity to get really good VR experience is high frame rate. So the Vive, for example, is 90 frames per second, and you want to try and get that in order to not break the immersion. And you've got to have the VRAM to load the textures in. So when you get really up close and personal with controls and everything else, you can read it as if it's exactly in front of you. And that's going to be hard.
Yeah. Just going back to the Elite Dangerous thing again, I've gone to the Steam page, and in the VR support section, that HTC Vive is stated as working with it.
Okay. That's good.
And it says to be seated. It even says headset used HTC Vive play area seated, which is quite a nice little description.
Yeah, there you go. So, I think I understand the point, right? The Vive, I don't think is going to be as massively adopted as the Rift will, and the reason why they think the Rift was it's cheaper, as we've now discussed.
Well, it doesn't have motion controls, does it?
Well, it does, but obviously they're an extra. So
yeah.
But it's going to be difficult. When you buy the Rift, you get the controller, you get the headset, you get the little kind of really nice looking camera that points at you. You've got everything you need, PC notwithstanding. PC that can run good VR experience to actually start playing VR games. If you don't also have a dedicated room, or at least a room you can partially dedicate to that standing experience, half of the really good selling points of the game are gonna be difficult to sell with the Vive. One thing I have seen, for example, is motion that people have sort of taken from VR and taken the problem of how do you move around in a really confined space without using something like the Virtuix Omni, which is like a multi-directional.
The treadmill.
Yeah. And I've seen some people do some clever stuff, like basically almost Portal-esque control move, where they can get into specific rooms by firing a blob. The blob fires out in an arc, and then suddenly your character like teleports there. That's an interesting thing to me.
What do you mean?
So say you're stood in a room, right, and your objective is to get over to that other corner of the room and steal a diamond, and then go back. You have a gun in front of you with the motion controller. You point over there. A projectile comes out, and where that projectile lands, your character then teleports to it. So you're not physically having to move around the room, but your perception is that you are, and it's something you can follow, so you don't theoretically.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah.
I think one of the main problems with virtual reality is that virtual reality and motion controllers have had a really bad track record.
Yeah. From what I've seen so far, from the Vive's footage, the sensors, again, like I said, with the headset being covered in the sensors, basically the way it works, I should point this out, the way it works is you put two base stations in the corners of the room. They have lasers that just spin and then cover the entire room in invisible light that you can't see but the headset can, and then the headset just picks up on all that light and is able to figure out where it is in the room. And not only that, the motion controllers have got like gimbals and not gimbals, accelerometers, etc., to pick up on that, and also the sensors again, so that it's got the way to track that. And from what I've seen so far in a game like Windlands, if you want to go and have a look at like Jacksepticeye's channel, for example, he recently played Windlands on the Vive Pre, which is the...
Is that the one with
it's
the
Attack on Titan one, yeah, basically.
I played that one on the Rift.
Yeah, and that was pretty cool, but when he was like physically... He was like clapping just to show off like what it would look like in the game world, and it's really on point. Like, it's really... It's XYZ axis pointing, and it works really well from what I've seen. So I'm pretty excited for it.
So do you think the Vive surpasses the Oculus and everything because it can do everything the Oculus can?
No. I think that they are two different experiences.
Well,
but surely you can do everything with Vive. You just don't have like the motion of it. Like, you can still sit down with the Vive.
The thing I think it's going to come down to is that if you look at HTC and you look at Valve have been making games for years, and they have been making good user experiences.
They make money now.
Yeah, well, that too, but that's a topic for another time. And HTC make fairly good hardware, right?
Yeah.
Oculus's sole purpose since its inception has been to make VR and VR experiences. I think that Oculus will have that drive behind it based on the people like me who had bought the initial stuff and gone, I'm sticking with Oculus because this is they know what they're doing. They're making this stuff. They gave away a whole bunch of stuff to the people who
with Oculus in the original trailer. You've got Gaben backing it.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of promotion is stuff you can't really buy. I guess he kind of wishes he could take that back now, but at the same time, I don't think he does, because what Valve are going to want to do is, again, Valve want to make money. They're going to say, come to our VR store and buy our VR.
They've got games on their platform that have VR games.
They got people excited and wanting to play VR.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think that for me, I bought the Vive because I am in a position where I was able to afford that, and I was thinking my biggest problem with the Rift was that it made me ill, and that's why I gave it to Joe after I was done with my dev kit. It sounds dumb, but it was, because it was a case of I can't sit here and have this really immersive experience. When I used the Vive, it didn't happen, because I was stood up, I had a one-to-one mapping, I was moving around the room, I was pointing my arms in directions, and I was turning on the spot.
LAN,
LAN, yeah. Insomnia had one set up. It was super booked. Like, you must have had to have known about it before you arrived in order to actually get time with it. But it was good.
But
so why does the motion controllers of the Vive, they're really good, but like the PlayStation Move never really?
Because they're based on different technologies.
But the Move, the PlayStation Move actually tracked really well though. It just never caught on.
Yeah, it's true. The thing I think that limits, motion controller technology is always perceived as a gimmick, right? The problem is, I think that these controllers, for example, the Vive, I prefer the look of the controllers that Palm Lucky showed off from Oculus. Because they've got sensors in them, for example, that recognize what your thumbs are doing. They know when you're pointing. They know when you're putting your thumbs up, because they're looking at what your hands are doing, as well as having joysticks and moving around. Whereas the ones which the Vive come with actually look pretty clunky, and they've got like the same haptic feedback pads that the Steam controller did. I don't think you've used the Steam controller, but I have.
No,
I've
used it.
It rumbles and it gives you a weird kind of feedback when you're moving around on it. It's quite good, but it's a mapping that is basically like Waggletastic Wiimotes, rather than the almost gesture recognition. That I'm patenting or copywriting Waggletastic right now, Toby. You can't have that.
Time you
no, I'm on the phone right now. You have to beat me to it.
But it's I would say that I prefer the Vive just because of the fact that I could walk around a room, and if I am able to, for example, suddenly appear in Equestria and start feeding a My Little Pony, then I'm sold.
That sounds amazing as well. Actually, that sounds good. But but going back to your point before, is that you're saying they're two different experiences, but I still haven't. I don't understand how these are two different experiences. Like, I'm sticking between. Well, Vive can still do everything Oculus can.
I guess theoretically it probably can.
I can still sit down with my Vive and play Elite, which is kind of what I want VR to be. That's all I want. I just want to play Elite. With a headset.
When you have to type in a I can't stop it moving. It's a squeaky chair.
It's squeaking. It's squeaking.
When when you have to type in your birthday and you can just hit the 1st of January to get into a website. I always type in my actual birthday.
I do the same thing.
Time.
I actually type in my actual birthday. And I think Gabe Newell was on record at once and saying it's amazing how 98% of our Steam user base
are born on January 1st.
Yeah. And then their actual year of their birth. But I think going to finish off the VR topic, Toby, I think the Vive is better. Because,
it sounds
you say,
good.
it can
so do you recommend, if you had the money, go for the Vive over the Oculus?
No. The reason why I did it is because I already have a decent PC. If you have no entry to VR thus far, I would go with the Oculus, because then you'd have more cash to build a VR-ready PC. And that's the super important thing right now. So being able to run good VR
experiences. There's only a $200 difference though. I realise that's enough to upgrade a graphics card.
You don't want.
Yeah, and that's the point, right? Going from something that, say you had a 670 Ti, which still to this day for flat, 1080p gaming, not too bad. Not going to cut it for VR. You want to use that money to buy like a 980 Ti, or that's silly, but a 970 at least. That's quite all.
I was gonna. Okay, I'll talk about the other point. I was gonna say I think the PlayStation Move didn't really get off was because I think motion controllers were always meant to be paired together with VR, because moving something around in your hand and then having it move around on a screen is different to having moving around in your hand and having it move around in front of your eyes.
Yeah. But there was never like a killer game on the PlayStation 3 that like sold. Oh yeah, the move's really good. Look at it work really well with the move. Like they're all pretty gimmicky games that were designed for it.
Yeah, and I think that's not necessarily a problem with the platform, but I think it's a problem with the uptake. I can almost call it now, right? As soon as this takes off, and I truly believe VR is the next platform for serious gaming. I honestly think what will happen is people will see that and think, wow, we can make some serious money there. And then you'll get the big developers with the great ideas that come up with these sort of things, creating the next killer experience in VR. Then you will be able to just say, I know where VR is going with this.
Right. Well, I completely forgot the last point I had, so that's really thrown me off. But we'll move on to the next topic, which is about Fallout 4's update to their DLC plan, and the season pass price change is going up since they've added. Well, they've say they're adding more games to it.
When you say the season pass is going up, I'm assuming that does not affect people who already bought it.
Anyone who already purchased the season pass will keep the original price.
Alright, cool. They don't get shafted by saying you don't get this.
No.
Right,
It was before a certain date. I think it was sometime in February when it was announced. So, if you already had the season pass before the price changed, nothing changes for you.
I'm kind of kicking myself at this point, though. I should have just got the season pass before.
It's a difficult one to
No. Every Bethesda game I've owned, I end up buying all the DLC for it as they come out.
I'm someone by principle who really doesn't like season passes.
I like
completely the
but
same.
if I've already bought the game though, I haven't pre-ordered the game, I like it, and I kind of like, and I want all the DLC because that's just kind of the person I am. I just like having the complete package.
I'll probably just wait for the Game of the Year edition.
I am in the same boat. I have not bought. For some context, I don't own Fallout 4. I owned Fallout 3. I played it for about 5 minutes. I was like, I do not enjoy this. I have heard many people telling me try Fallout 4 because it's different and it's got. No. People have told me if you couldn't get on with it because it was almost third person and the first person nature of Fallout 3 was never on point. They say it's a bit more polished now for for Fallout 4, but I still haven't picked it up because I cannot justify paying that much.
I played Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition, and that was a really good experience. And the system is almost completely different to Fallout 4. I think that I'm so glad I played Fallout 3 before Fallout 4 because I think I would have lost a lot of things. Like, I think Fallout 3 is a more polished and finished game with all the DLC and stuff. But think if with Bethesda games, you really want to get the Game of the Year edition.
Yeah, with DLC announced though, like do you? Obviously, I know what you mean because we talked about Fallout 3 before, like I think on the first episode of this. Like, I think Fallout 3 is much better.
In Bethesda games.
Yeah, but do you think the 3 DLCs have been announced? Like, do you not think that they add anything back, like from Fallout 3?
To be honest, let's just go over the DLCs quickly.
Yeah.
So the first DLC is going to be released in March is the Automatron DLC, which is basically Automatron, sorry. And you can basically build.
I like the idea of Automatron better. It's just some crazed nurse in like a matron's unit. Just I am here to deliver your babies.
Automatron. That you have basically you can unleash a horde of robots in the Commonwealth is kind of the tagline.
That sounds really
You can
cool.
basically have a robot companion who you build up and customize to be like this ultimate fighting machine. My favourite companion in Fallout 4 was Codsworth because he was the only NPC in the game who knew my name.
Yeah,
Mr.
Really
Joe, sir. Like they actually programmed, I think, over like.
Yeah, well, they called it. I watched the video where they go into it. Master Fuckface, how are you?
Just FYI,
Mr. Boobies.
Yeah, Orgasmo is also one of the ones that's recognised.
Yeah.
So going on to this topic actually for the Automatron stuff, I actually saw a post on Reddit a while back before this DLC was announced, and it was this guy that had like activated a Securitron unit and tried to keep him almost as a quasi companion throughout this thing. So I wonder if that had any impact on this at all. Like if they saw that and they thought that's cool, we should try.
Well, it could have been the other way around though. It could have been that they were planning it, couldn't release it in the main game, so some of the components are already in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
So this one's going to cost $10, £8, and
15 Australian rubles.
We won't go into Australian dollars.
Sorry, just to clarify, how much is the season pass now then?
Well, the price changes. Originally, it was £25, but they're now upping it to £40.
So how much was the game? The base game was like £40, wasn't it? So you're basically buying the game again. Are they saying that they're going to basically be bringing out as much content?
This is what I want to talk about because they're upping the price of the season pass, and this is a season pass of promises of future DLC.
Which
they promised
60. They need to actually.
They promised $60 worth, don't they, or over $60 worth of extra content?
Yeah.
How do you quantify?
Well, they're just going to say like every DLC is £8, aren't they?
Yeah, that just sounds. It's such a strange.
Yeah, it is strange. It's a strange way of saying it.
Say for example, Borderlands 2, the Game of the Year edition, was really good. There was a lot of DLC for it.
Yeah.
And I got Borderlands the pre-sequel, and I held off on buying the season pass, and I'm glad I did because there was shit all DLC released for.
Yeah, I think the Game of the Year edition seems much better if you're not planning on buying it on release. But that's what I did with Skyrim. I just bought every DLC on release.
But publishers kind of have no promise to release.
No, I know.
You know, lots of good DLC from the season pass. They can just release like microtransaction-y sort of.
Well, yeah,
DLC.
I was really annoyed when they decided to stop making DLC for Skyrim.
Mm. Well, the second DLC is a bit cheaper. This is the Wasteland Workshop, where you can kind of capture creatures and force them to fight for you, sort of like a Pokemon DLC.
I really like this.
For about
like this one.
$5 or £4. It sounds kind of interesting because it adds more to the Settlers feature that they added,
which they put most of the effort into the game with.
I don't like the Settlers feature that much. I just want to roam around the wasteland by myself,
listening to some.
I
kind of feel like
they decreased a lot of that content for the settling. Yeah,
I feel like I just kind of want to be a lone wanderer because even having a companion's kind of required with how difficult they've made the game on how you have to take certain perks and you can't kind of play the game you wanted to play like you could in Fallout 3. Like I think Fallout 3 is a lot more of a fun experience rather than a serious survival simulator, and they've even updated the game recently to add more options to like having a survival mode where you have to sleep, eat and drink and sort of stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
But that's the cheap DLC, and then the last DLC is Far Harbor, which is a $25 DLC or £20, and this is meant to be one of their biggest DLCs they've ever made.
Yeah, it's like really story driven.
Yeah, this is a story campaign. You follow the case from Valentine's detective agency when you're looking for a young woman and a secret colony of simps, like, you know, the story of Part 4, you have the simps rising and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, this looks interesting.
So that would be more map content, I would say, like physical more space too.
I think it's one of the biggest in terms of space.
Yeah.
But I'm very worried about this because one of Fallout 4's biggest problems that I have with the game is that they have a very big map, but they don't have a lot in it.
Oh, so it's a lot of expansive wasteland, like literally expansive.
Yeah, Skyrim is big and has lots of small things in it.
Yeah.
Fallout 4's map is big, about the same size as Skyrim, I think, but has nothing in it.
I feel like if this is just one giant harbour, it may be more like a walking simulator.
But they are charging £20. But I realise that nothing to do with like how good it actually be. But I kind of feel like they're going to add like a lot of NPC interactions and things, and lots of side quests. Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, if you can combine it with the automaton one, as long as I can have Liberty Prime as a companion, that would be pretty cool. Like I said,
I think
I
it's
haven't
a bit
played.
Too big for that.
No.
Do you
Fallout are pretty crazy. I haven't
seen
played.
Liberty
Yes, I
Prime?
have, and that's it. So I love to be clear on this one.
Die, communist!
Yeah, better dead than red, and that kind of stuff. I have watched a fair amount of content from Fallout, because I love the idea of the lore.
Liberty Prime is like Autobot status of big,
basically,
towering
like
above
massive.
you.
That would be cool though, because you'd literally you see all these kind of like gifs people.
It is
post on
really
the
cool at the
internet.
end of Fallout 3 when you.
Dan, there's always mods. Mods can do that for you.
That's true, right? And that's the kind of thing I'm thinking of as well, because you see these gifs on Reddit at the moment of people that are just like, I'm just going to disable these tripwires, and one of your companions just walks in like, what's going on, and everything explodes. Just imagine that be like just like sneak, and then suddenly like Liberty Prime just goes flattens the settlers. You were just around like
Well, recently they've added the modding tools to PC and consoles. So.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really
so
cool.
this is a slight tangent, but it's something I think is relevant here about talking about map size, etc. Did you see recently that someone took the map from Far Cry Primal, overlaid it on top of the map from Far Cry 4? It's the same map with one difference on a river. A river bend goes another way and the same way as the old one. That is what I worry could be similar to happening here. I don't expect Bethesda to.
No. Did you play Skyrim
better than
at all?
that.
Did you play Skyrim at all?
Yeah, I played that.
The Dragonborn expansion added Soul Theme, and it was not the same map at all.
Yeah, so like I said, I don't expect Bethesda
No.
to do that, but we have seen it in the past, and I mean, even recently. It's an interesting.
Well, it wouldn't
Why
really
would
make
you
any
sort of
sense to be
why?
the same map though.
Speaking of Skyrim, standard definition Skyrim's getting a combat update.
Oh really?
Skyrim is still going. I have a friend at work who he basically goes back to that whenever there's like a lull in games. At the moment, he's been waiting for Far Cry Primal to come out for some God knows why reason.
He's crazy.
He goes back to Skyrim and he just grinds through
But it's
it
such
again
a
in a
bad
different
game.
way. I don't like Skyrim myself. I know a lot of people really love it. It's another one of these games I bought really cheap in a Steam sale on people's
I
recommendations.
like it just
and
for
I played
modding.
I beat the
the first
final.
2 minutes. It's like,
I beat the final boss, the Jarl of Right,
Yeah.
and I can tell you, first guy, and I can tell you,
It's a short game, isn't it, Joe?
It's about an hour experience.
There's 2 bosses. There's the dragon and the
All
Jarl of
I
Whiterun.
did, yeah, I got to the Jarl of Right. His kid was like, "Here to kiss my father's boot," and I installed the Kill Children's mod.
I'll
Finished
be
it
honest
off.
with you. Like, I really
Um,
like Fallout 4 and Skyrim. However, as base games, I couldn't just play them without any mods. Like, they both need mods, in my opinion. But that's why I like playing them. They're really good bases for mods.
I get what you're coming from that, right? If someone managed to add ponies to the wasteland, and I'm sure they will.
I think that's already done.
There is a massive fan-created content which is based off of the Fallout and the My Little Pony canon called Fallout Equestria, and I'm sure that this will happen for that game. Like people.
Well,
will
every
mod
game
in.
has that though. Like, Minecraft has pony mods, Skyrim has pony mods. I don't see why Fallout.
But
can't have
that's what
pony
keeps you
mods.
playing it. Whereas,
Well,
like
no,
actual
that-
DLC, usually you're one and done.
No,
It's good that
I was
Specific
I was
fans of
waiting.
specific things can
For
add
Skyrim,
their
I
own
was waiting for
experience,
DLC.
different games with large moddable elements to it.
Yeah. Like like for instance, like Dawnguard, the first DLC for Skyrim, added quite a lot of mechanic which then was moddable. Like, lots of mods require Dawnguard to work.
I kind of get what you're kind of coming from, because it's the idea that if the core developers haven't enabled stuff, then more mods can't take usage of that. Prime example, for example, the Amnesia, the Dark Descent. There are tons of mods made for that, and they all basically.
I didn't know there was modding for that.
Yeah, there is, and some of it's really dumb. Like at one point, there were no NPCs in the game, so if you wanted to add another monster, you had to reskin a bed and then make the bed like spaz out Ragnar physics eyes. But then they brought Soma out, and by the way, do not watch Soma right before bed, because you will. Like if you play or watch someone play Soma right before bed, you will have an existential crisis. I'm calling it now. I did. I couldn't sleep for like 3 hours until I eventually collapsed with exhaustion.
I don't have problems with scary games. I quite like them.
It's not a scary game. It's a game that makes you think, and that's the
No, I
worst
know,
kind,
but
'cause it's terrifying.
it's on edge though, isn't it? It's kind of creepy the whole way through. It's all
it's
disconcerting. I would
Soma's-
still argue
Soma's
it's a scary
super-
game.
Yeah, it's
Aren't you like a robot?
Everyone is.
yeah, it's weird.
Spoilers.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into it because it's not for this topic, but we should talk about Soma at some point, because it's a really interesting head
horror walking simulator.
It's
really
weird.
No, it's not. It's not a walking simulator.
It's super strange.
That's like, you could just make a horror walking simulator real time strategy, and I would love that. That would be my favourite game in the world.
Yeah. But anyway, back to Fallout 4. I mean, I can't say too much about Fallout 4. Like I said, I haven't played it. I haven't picked it up. I really love the idea of the lore. You know, I love any alternate universe stuff, like Man in the High Castle kind of stuff is really cool. But I just don't know enough about this to say whether this DLC would be good or not. I have my reservations.
Do you have Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition?
Yes.
I cannot highly recommend that you play Fallout 3 Game of the Year edition.
I'm currently not playing Fallout 4, so I might just wait until the DLC comes out, then buy Fallout 4 again. But
pick that up.
Game of the Year edition.
So you rate Fallout 3, Joe, over Fallout 4?
Well,
Toby,
even I do.
Okay.
I've seen lots of Fallout 3 videos.
Do you think
I
that is a general consensus most of the internet seems to have?
I think it looks like it's not as polished. I don't think it's like first person graphical physics wise, but everything else is just like more in depth, more diverse. You can play the play style you want, more interesting stories.
Quite different.
Yeah.
because when you leveled up in Fallout 3, you put points in specific skills. So leveling up actually made you more powerful rather than you level up, you get a perk.
But as Joe said earlier, like a I don't know, 20 minutes ago now, it's been a while. But he's saying like you have like the perk tree in Fallout 4, you have to put it in particular ones. Like you have to get more ammo, otherwise you just run out of ammo. It's just really boring.
See, that's what puts me off. A game like
so
that
boring.
Sort of says, here's how I want you to play the game, or here's how you want to play the game. I'm going to pick the game that says, here's how I want to play the game. That sounds a bit hypocritical considering we talked about Firewatch earlier. But I honestly think that's, although you have to do certain things in order to do it, the way you go about it is not necessary.
In Fallout 3, when you pick a perk, it gives you this unique ability that lets you kind of bend the rules of the game rather than have more health, have more bullets. Like, sometimes a guy in a grey trench coat will come along and shoot your enemies. That's kind of interesting.
Joe, here's an idea though.
Or I was gonna say, like you can get the Lady Killer perk, where you get unique dialogue with women, and you also deal more damage to women. But you can also go, I want to be a cannibal. I want to eat people. And every time you eat someone, you can heal yourself, but you'll lose karma.
Oh,
but Joe, like this is missing from Fallout 4. Like, there's going at some point when like the modding tool, comes out, and the modding becomes more in depth. Like, some will make it more like Fallout 3. There'll be an overhaul mod.
I hated the karma system in Fallout 4 because it's almost non-existent.
No, it's not.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
Because basically, what happens that instead of like you stole something, you get negative karma. What happens is when you do something good and you have a good companion, your companion will go, oh, I like that, and you'll get a better relationship with them, and it unlocks like a special ability, like a perk.
So you basically just don't want to piss off your companions all the time, otherwise the game becomes harder. That is dumb.
I didn't really like it. I kind of just like Fallout 3 going around by myself as a lone wanderer listening to Galaxy Radio with 3 dogs. Bow wow. And I think that was more of a full experience. And the reason I brought up the DLC point is because I am not sure
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Yeah, I just wait to Game of the Year edition. But I think we'll move on to one of the last topics before Toby's Wishlist, which is the multiplayer only version of Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Now, I know none of us are avid Call of Duty fans, but I think this is really...
I don't know what you're talking about. Every time I open my door, there are air horns playing.
MLG. Mom, grab the camera! Get the camera! What? Wombo combo. Happy feet.
Oh, dear.
So basically...
Sponsored by Doritos.
I think it's really important, because people really want... All they want to do is they want to buy Call of Duty and play the multiplayer and never touch the single player.
I have friends that would genuinely just do that. You remember Ashley Butcher, who loves Ashton Kutcher? He would do that. He's the kind of guy that, because all of his mates when he had an Xbox bought COD Blops and played through the multiplayer, and that was it. This would be perfect. He'd literally buy
my
that
friend,
just
my
for
friend who bought Black Ops 3, like he has 0% on the campaign, but like 54% on multiplayer.
Prestige 9, bro. Got my golden AKs.
It's like on GTA 5, I have 60 hours, and those 60 hours are all multiplayer. I have never played the single player GTA
Really?
5. Yeah.
I didn't even know you had GTA 5. Well,
it's very fun.
So, what comes with the version of Black Ops multiplayer?
So basically, the multiplayer starter pack gives you access to the public ranked matches, and you get the weapon paint shop, the gunsmith, the arena, the free run, the theatre, and the black market. Now, I have no idea what any of those things are.
No.
But if you play Call of Duty, you might.
Hold on,
that makes some sort of sense to me.
That's one.
I think the biggest feature is that the multiplayer only edition doesn't come with the zombies game mode.
Yeah, I can understand why they've done that, because
nobody would buy the single player.
Yeah,
otherwise.
I believe so. To be honest, they are probably the two core experiences that most kids, I'm gonna say, talk about.
Like when you have a friend round, one of the few you're like, oh, I've got a Call of Duty, let's play zombies.
Yeah.
Well,
I actually really like them. I'm not a big fan of Call of Duty, but Call of Duty Zombies I actually really like the look of.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's that's one of the things that was really about couch gaming. You know, it's past the controller, or in this case, it's two people, split screen. I'm going over here. I'm getting the weird alien laser gun, and I'm gonna shoot some zombies.
The ray gun.
There's very, very vague story going on.
No, I think because like the stories that told through the chatter of the characters, which I really quite like.
It's funny to an extent, but there's not much there. It's just to keep people engaged to a certain.
I'm looking up Call of Duty Black Ops 3. It looks like you can buy the multiplayer starter pack, which is the multiplayer only experience, and you can upgrade and get the other features on it.
Does that come to the same cost as?
If you upgrade to the full game, will allow access to the Call of Duty's game, there's content increase multiplayer mode, campaign mode, and the zombie mode. So
I guess that's not too bad, right? I mean,
so if you just wanted the multiplayer mode and you decided down the line, actually I want to play zombies,
They brought out
you
the
could
new
do that.
They brought out the new zombies map, which is separate DLC. So I'm not sure how
So
that one
it's
works.
exactly the same price to purchase the multiplayer
That's good.
starter pack and then upgrade as just buying the full game.
Yeah, that's really good.
This will dovetail into our next subject. But what happens if you buy this and then Steam recognizes you already have part of this game, and it's like, well, we've made this bundle cheaper for you, because we're talking about bundles potentially. I think. Did you mention that it's the developer that controls that? I would assume it would be.
I do not think that whoever the hell is making Call of Duty anymore will enable that. Who is it? Treyarch,
This one
Activision,
is
someone?
This one's Treyarch. There's
Three.
Infinity Ward, Treyarch, and Sledgehammer.
It used to be like good one, bad one, right? Wasn't
There
it?
used
It
to
was
only
like
be Treyarch and I just lost what I just said. But yeah, Treyarch has always been the good one, but really
Infinity
bad for PC.
Ward. I liked the Infinity Ward. I think they made Modern Warfare.
Yeah, Modern Warfare 2 I found good.
The thing
Modern
is though
Warfare I
that
found
Infinity
good.
Ward don't innovate as much as Treyarch. I really like what Treyarch does.
Are they still a thing, Infinity Ward?
Yeah.
Did they get sold off? I think.
No, I think it's.
Were they bought by Activision Blizzard?
I don't know. Well, yeah.
I didn't bring up this topic to talk about Call of Duty
Yeah,
because it's not something I know about. The idea was that I think that enabling people to have multiplayer only experience on a single player game,
it is a fantastic
on a game that has
idea.
single player and multiplayer.
Yeah, I like the idea myself. Because I know there is that demographic that is interested in only the multiplayer side of things.
For cutting off the single player and zombies, you're saving £28.
Yeah, and let's face it, that stops you from being able to play with your friends when they come over, and for the 98% of the time you sit glued to your computer, you're actually able to play with them when they fire up COD occasionally. So I think I like the idea. I like the idea of being able to buy a game and only have access to the multiplayer stuff. That being said, these days I don't play as many single player games because, as mentioned before, for me it's easier to get into something that's over quick and is repeatable, so I can learn to spec up or skill up on it.
Yeah.
But I can't think of any reason why you wouldn't then see Activision or whoever the hell it is that's making COD now then look at that and see the amount of sales they're making in multiplayer only, and then go, you know what, we're not even going to make single
One
player
thing
anymore.
I will add is you only get access to the ranked ladder, so you can't play custom lobbies.
Yeah. And
you don't have the ability to prestige, so you can reach the cap, but you can't then prestige and do it all again.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you remember we talked about Star Wars Battlefront, right? That's multiplayer only, whereas the old Battlefronts used to be, here was...
I actually played the old Battlefronts for the story. I really liked the Imperial
really
story
fun
from the second game.
And the space battles and stuff.
It was pretty interesting stuff you could do. And you see a lot of people complaining. So I guess my point about saying I don't mind so much them doing that, it could be a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah, as long as the content
goes into the game.
start
seeing that and go, we're not going to make single player experiences anymore, that's bad. I don't like that idea, but as a business model, it makes sense, and it gives people who perhaps have less money. If I see more, inverted commas, AAA titles that do not cost $40 or
Oh, okay.
etc., then
What?
that's
What?
better.
Like, say for like for Battlefront 3, like say they made like a single player and a multiplayer game. You could either buy it separately or you could buy the big bundle. Like that would, for me, is like what I'd actually want.
Yeah, I know exactly. I mean, I would buy the bigger bundle myself, but I know a lot of people wouldn't. They just go, "I'm gonna play the multiplayer."
I would be just playing the single player.
Yeah.
I know that Jim made a video on multiplayer in games like Battlefront, and he said, we don't mind multiplayer only games as long as it doesn't take up, as long as you're not using the resources of what would go into the single player and then just not using them. Use them and make the multiplayer more expansive and better by taking the single player away.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
I think it's difficult. It's a difficult sell for a publisher and a developer, right? Because if you think about the amount of money that must be made on multiplayer, like skins and everything else, because you're going to be playing that on and on and on and on and on, you're going to get a lot of money back from it. If you buy something that is just in the single player, theoretically you pay an amount for it and then you never touch it again, and you don't think, oh, I'll get that other skin for that other weapon.
Just quickly, what we were saying with Call of Duty bundles was that Steam have now added an option for developers that they can have it so if you buy a bundle and you already own one of the games, you can make the bundle cheaper.
As of recording, the IDOS IDOS developer pack has that enabled for Square Enix,
which is pretty good. I think that's really gonna, help bundles in the Steam sale.
Yeah,
it's going to be
really
interesting
nice
when you see these kinds of things, though, where you hear quite frequently about people who hike their prices right before a Steam sale happens, and then they're just like, so that's the same cost, or there's like 17% off, which brings it down to £2.
I think there's a website online that kind of looks at the price of games. And
you can add a thing to Steam called Enhanced Steam, and what that does is it will go and it will track that stuff. And if you go to a games page and say you were looking at, right, it'll say here's actually where it's currently cheapest, here's the historical low cost of this game. It was cheapest on good old games like in February or something. That might be what you're thinking of. It's quite useful for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely used that before. It's quite good. But if we go on to Toby's wish list now, so we can wrap up the show. Daniel, if you want to pick a game from Toby's wish list.
Okay, I won't go for the obvious choice, which is the one which we were talking about before, because Toby, you're dead to me. I tell you what, I'll go because it's still relatively topical. I'm going to go for No Man's Sky. That's listed here.
And I got it to Steam recently.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a chance to add it to my wish list yet, but I do definitely want that game.
It looks like on point aesthetically. I think it looks great. I love the idea.
Yeah.
This is not strictly.
Are we actually going to
wish
choose
list
this?
style,
Are we
right?
actually going to choose this game? Because
this will be number
right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so.
Let me put it this way. For this game, I don't even care if it's shit. Like at this point, I just want to. The developer is doing it's almost like a single man, isn't it? He's doing.
I think so.
He's doing such a good job.
At least to start with.
He's doing such a good job. I realize he's got publishing money as well, but it's just so good that I kind of just have to buy it.
Is this the one when you can name planets if you find them?
When you find
name,
them, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, this is so cool. This one kind of goes off on a tangent because I think all three of us know stuff about what's on this instance of Toby's wish list. The fact that I think it was just added as having a release date of June 21st, I want to say, or 24th in the UK from the looks of things. I like the idea of this. I think it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw it originally and I thought this looks amazing, and I showed it to Tony and he quickly got on to the idea.
Yeah.
But I love procedurally generated games.
I think they're really cool.
I'm a huge fan of roguelike games. Anything where I can have a unique experience every time I play.
I have a few problems that might occur in the game, but I don't think it's going to be a massive problem. It's not going to be a game a reason not to buy it. But I'm just saying the assets for the things on each planet, the animals, the enemies and things that. Surely they're going to run out of assets for that, but it's not really a problem.
Yeah.
Well, they could do a Borderlands thing they did with over 1 million guns, where they just randomise different elements.
But some of these screenshots have
dinosaurs
dinosaurs and things on it, the wildlife. There's only so much you can put on a planet, so much you can generate procedurally.
I think what will probably happen is they'll open up tools to developers like elsewhere, and they'll say you're going to be able to make your own cool stuff now.
Modding might be really good.
And then we'll
for this.
cherry pick good stuff. Yeah, well, I imagine the developers will say, well, we're cherry picking some of the really cool stuff. We'll do a kickback.
Yeah.
Kickback to the people that make this, but we'll continue to make money on it, and then we'll add that into the game because it looks really cool. This game, I kind of quasi-picked this one from the list because it was something I did know about, and I wanted to commend you for making a good choice. So well done, Toby.
Already
this
before
one, I'm saying,
I won before I even started.
Allowed on your wish list.
Sorry, what?
I think what makes this game, like, I won't say good until it's been released.
Yeah, true.
It looks good because it's the trailer's playing now, and it's pretty relaxing to just fly through space and stuff.
I really like the ship
and I think it'd be a good like if you want to listen to. It's what I'd call a podcast game. If you could listen to a podcast or music, but there's also combat. Animals. There's things to do. You don't necessarily. It's not one of those games where you just fly around and aim.
It's like you
can do things.
Like, I think this is what I'm envisioning. Like, I might be completely wrong here, but I just want to like relaxingly like leave my planet I start on, go find like a weird planet, and like, oh, there's some weird animals on this planet. Oh, look, there's some enemies there. Better get rid of them, and then like go to the next planet and kind of just repeat the cycle. So like, be Captain Picard.
Sorry, go ahead, Toby.
Toby, put No Man's Sky on my list of games that are gonna be big.
Okay.
I'm calling it now.
Yeah, we're looking at the other trailer. What I was going to say is I think that the thing that will probably make this game really exciting is the same element that happened with DayZ, for example, or DayZ. No, but thinking about it, right? It's that. I know it's not a game you'd particularly like, but the human interaction element with this, I think, is
everyone's an arse.
Well, not necessarily though, because there are people where you get together in groups and then you start.
I think DayZ brings out the worst.
Yeah, it really
but it does. But that's what will probably happen with this kind of stuff, where no one will particularly trust each other. You always see this kind of stuff in Star
This
Citizen,
is going to be
right?
single player only, isn't it?
Is it?
Single player only, and has partial controller support.
Oh, we didn't even check that. That's.
I thought you knew it was single.
No, I didn't. I genuinely didn't. I thought this was a multiplayer
These are all NPCs.
experience.
This is just going to be a.
That's impressive. Those all being NPCs, I had no idea. I assumed this was a massive multiplayer game.
No, it's procedurally generated. You have your own. Everyone has their own unique universe.
You're thinking more of like the Elite expansions that are going to come out, so you can go on the planets. I assume.
Yeah, I wasn't. I assumed that you would. When you say it's procedurally generated, I assume they'd have like a seed value or something. So if you just go to a planet, you could tell someone else about that planet, and they could visit it. But no, I genuinely didn't know this was.
You might be able to because they can have the same planet in their single player game.
That's pretty cool.
Because seed's always a good thing for procedurally generated games. So they have it in the Binding of Isaac Rebirth, where I go on a run and I was like, oh, this run was really fun. They'll have the seed number. I can give it to my friend and they can run the same run.
Do you know, I think it says a lot for this game about the fact that I've only now just been told that this is a single player only game, and I still want to play it. I will still pick it up because it looks
that's
really
one of the
cool.
main reasons I wanted to play it, because I don't want to play one of these MMOs. I hate MMOs these days because
I'm going off them as well.
I think MMOs and RTSs are kind of dying genre. And
I don't know. I think RTSs are still coming back. I think like last year was definitely the year of RTS.
You are an RTS fanboy, Toby.
Yeah, and you are an RTS hater. You can't...
And I'm an MMO fanboy.
Exactly.
So maybe we're not the best person to ask about whether they're dead or alive,
Maybe.
because we're kind of ingrained in the scene.
So yes, Toby. Again, you are allowed that on your
Toby,
wish list.
I have wishlisted this because I hadn't wishlisted it yet on Steam. But yes.
I've just realised I'm not actually following it yet. I probably should follow that so I get updates on it. There we go.
Yeah, Toby, what the hell is Hot Tin Roof the cat that wore a fedora? Because I saw Michael playing it on Steam, and I asked him to explain what it was to me, and he couldn't really.
Well, here's the thing. He told me to add it to my wish list.
Okay, so do you know what it is?
Well, I'll read the description.
Yeah, you read the description.
This is Hot Tin Roof, the cat that wore a fedora. The description goes as follows. You're the private investigator on a string of grisly murders, scouring for clues in a 3D side-scrolling world. Grab your fedora and revolver. In Hot Tin Roof, you're on the case. Drive into a noir mystery and become Emma Jones, the only PI partner to a cat named Frankie.
Right, so
What?
for tags, it's got my favourite tag, female protagonist, my favourite genre of game.
Can I just say, female protagonist
It's not
when
a
the
genre.
art style, no, from the art style is voxel art
He
style.
looks like a guy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the little triangle divot in the shirt is supposed to indicate breast. I think that is the only
I saw the
feature.
pictures and I was like 100% sure it's a grizzled old man who's on a case with his cat. It looks like there's combat in the game because
Yeah,
he's
I was
got a
just thinking
revolver.
that. I think that's
A
first
revolver with
person,
4
isn't it?
shots, and you can
I think it's
choose what shot
I
goes
think
in.
it's third person that you like.
Well, it's side scroller. It said, but then why was it in that view? It's like
There may be a shooting mode.
I have to say, I like the art style.
It looks like a game that might have tank controls.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's it looks weird, but not bad.
Interesting.
Weird. Yeah.
I actually, when I heard about it, I thought it was going to be a 2D game.
Well, it's
But
like a
this
2.5D, isn't it?
It reminds me of Sam & Max.
It actually looks really interesting. I've actually clicked on it.
Yeah, Sam & Max I've played a lot of. I've got the entirety of the Telltale Sam & Max stuff, and I've played through most of them, and I enjoy them all because of the humour. So if the humour is similar here, I think that's an easy sell for me. I like the art style. I don't know what's going on, but I like it.
They're on a case.
It's in,
Yeah,
I
trying to
like
solve
I like
grisly
the
murder.
noir attitude and the detectives and
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. It looks really interesting.
It'll be interesting to see if the music is good too. If it's like proper noir music.
Well,
you know, with
they are pushing the
single
soundtrack
trumpet
version of
playing
this,
in the
so-
background.
Let me have a look at the features. So it's got Steam trading cards, full controller support.
Whoa, full.
Yeah, one of my favourite
It's got
features.
stats as well.
Yeah.
It's got
What the hell does stats
Like
mean?
leaderboards
Stats.
and things, I presume.
numbers.
Leaderboards.
No, leaderboards.
Oh,
What's
that's
a
separate,
zone
isn't
tag?
it?
Does
That's
it?
weird.
Yeah, I have
The
no
hell
idea.
are stats?
Sometimes I click on these and they give you more information. They just
Rocket League has stats. Oh, I get it. Okay, so it's like Rocket League, for example, you can track how many goals you've scored with a certain hat on.
okay.
So I guess maybe it's how many. So you
Yeah,
solved
like
crimes this many times and this quickly.
TF2 is like you have spent this much time
As
this
spy,
character.
yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
So basically, stats it just means it'll track progress. There's no there is achievements for the game as well, so you're going to be able to track your progress if you like that sort of thing. The game is £11 on Steam. It looks pretty good.
Came out last year.
The game has full control support and Steam controller support.
Oh, it's won awards.
Yeah.
It's oddly only got
It looks pretty
66 on Metacritic. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I just saw that.
But then again, Metacritic
very
gives like really
positive.
bad
I-
scores for like indie games.
I think we're both agreed here again. That would go on my wish list.
I think Metacritic shouldn't be trusted.
It's completely
that much.
shit.
I prefer user reviews over.
Yeah.
Anything
Well, I
else,
prefer to
yeah.
actually read information instead of just look at a number.
Oh god, I completely agree. Yeah, I cannot stand anything
Do you-
which tells me that this game is something else.
Do you
something
ever-
that indicates that there is a
Arbitrary
perfect-
rating system.
Yeah, it indicates there is
I
a
assume
perfect
you
score
two like,
you
don't
can
watch like Angry Joe. Like he does like game reviews.
Yeah,
I've heard of him. I haven't watched it myself.
I think
probably.
he's okay.
I really like him, but I just turn off as soon as it reaches the end. Oh yeah, I rate this like 6 out of 10. I don't care. You gave me like half an hour of information. I do not care what your number is.
Well, some people might just go to the end of the video and just be like, "Oh, okay, that's what you thought."
Yeah, I kind of get that. If you know based on like watching an influencer and you know what it is that they like or don't
I don't
like,
know, but
then
honestly,
you can
you-
extrapolate some information from that.
But one Angry Joe kind of puts it in order. Like he has an abstract at the start. Like you know what he feels about the game like right at the start.
Well, he writes like an essay almost.
He pretty much writes a video essay on the game. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Okay.
And then he then concludes at the end, like even after like the score he gives it, he then concludes and like says why he's given it the score. But to me, the score itself is meaningless.
It seems like a hot Ting Roof, the cat that wore a fedora, has a good sense of humour from the user reviews. Quite a funny, quirky little indie game, noir sort of feel. I'm going to add this to my wish list because it's like a good game, and I know Michael, our friend, enjoys this. So,
Milady.
Yeah.
What?
Tip of the fedora.
Isn't the lady wearing a fedora?
One more game.
We need to find one that we both can agree on as looking. Okay, what is that? Because that is literally
Romance of the Three Kingdoms Maker.
What?
And it's
free.
free.
And it's on.
Why do you have a game that's free on your
my
wish list?
and it's free. Great going.
To be fair, I have put a free-to-play game on my wish list because
I figured it out. I figured it out. English language not supported. He has to finish speaking Japanese first before he can add this one.
What is this?
I don't know. I'm going to watch the video and find out. Toby, try and explain Romance of the Three Kingdoms Maker whilst we watch the video.
I'm going to read the description. Romance of the Three Maker Kingdoms celebrates the 30th anniversary of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms series. There's a series
for helping us
of
with
these.
nothing so far.
It has been realised through a collaboration between the creators of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms series, Cole Temeko Games, and that explains nothing!
Okay. This is going to be a weird one, but if you type into Steam, I don't know why this isn't my wish list either. Romance of the Three...
There's a character selection screen.
Romance of the Three Kingdom actual game, which is £68.
If you're listening to this, I think you need to look up Romance of the Three Kingdoms Maker.
I completely agree.
Can you message me on Twitter?
Oh my god, he just took a picture of like a miso soup and turned it into a map.
If you can figure out what this game is about, I would love to know.
Yeah, I don't speak.
Any Japanese people out there, please translate what the hell's happening in this game.
He's picking regions and he's constructing them out of pictures he's found on the internet. He's just made something out of a sushi roll.
It's a maker game. I think you make a game inside the game.
But why is he making it out of elements of food?
I don't know.
Because you can.
It's like, I'm assuming that says something to do with food. I don't speak Japanese, but...
No, the
and
credits.
Now the credits are rolling.
Well, that was a great film.
Toby, why is this on your list?
Toby, it's in a language. It's in a language that you don't support.
Oh, it's on fire. Shit's on fire. Yeah. What's going
English
on?
is not
Twitter.
supported. Don't
I recognise that.
Twitter. You can message me on Twitter about Romance of the Three Kingdoms Maker.
Do you reckon that there is someone somewhere in Japan doing a podcast now going, if you can, like in Japanese, if you can tell me about Space Giraffe, please contact me.
I can tell you about Death Goat. I know all about Death Goat.
We know all about Death Goat. We can tell you about that.
So it's free, but there appears to be a lot of DLC in Japanese that I don't really know what it does.
Type into Steam Romance of the Three Kingdoms, right?
I don't know whether we want to do this. This sounds like it could be a trap. Will we have to clear our internet history after this?
It's Steam, it's fine.
£70? Yep. What the fuck is this a strategy game?
Yeah, it's like a brand strategy.
Okay, Toby, 100% strategy game. You shit. I would not recommend this. It's got mixed reviews as well. A lot of people don't like this. Someone with 40 hours on the record.
I just deleted my previous review because the mechanics are crap. I'm sorry, Toby. I really am. I'm looking at one game now that has screenshots of something that looks very Civ-esque, and I'm trying to imagine what the previous video we just watched, where he was constructing things with bowls of soup,
and then
possibly relate.
I just crushed my enemy in battle. Let me post this on Twitter.
He was making a soup empire with like soup battleships. That's what was going on.
Toby, I would recommend you reevaluate your life choices and take this off your wish list.
No.
In fact, I have a better question. Is Romance of the Three Kingdoms 13 on his wish list, or does he only have the free maker level?
He doesn't have Romance of the Three Kingdoms
on
his wish list.
I'll add it to my wish list.
With the partial control.
I'll add it to my wish list, guys. There you go. I've added it. Just
Steam
for
Cloud save, so.
If you can tell me what this game is about, or anyone, I would love to know.
This is awful.
Because it looks like Romance of the Three Kingdoms 13 is a strategy game. I don't know what Romance of the Three Kingdoms Maker is.
Can I just say as well, that indicates as well that there may have been 12 soup-based battleship simulators before this we don't know about.
Yeah. Maybe if I read the reviews.
Right, do you want me to read the description on the actual Romance of the Three Kingdoms 13 for you?
No, I don't, because I want to live in suspense of never knowing.
People
what
who are
Sim
recommending
Simulator
this
is.
game have played it for literally 10 minutes, and they're saying, "I love this game. Would recommend."
Yeah, it's the.
That game had to create sushi in order to build. Longbow.
Oh yeah, someone's complaining. I don't speak Japanese, kanji. You don't speak Japanese, Toby. Why do you want this game?
I am wanting to learn it though. I've started the process, just awfully slowly.
So one day,
can I just say, based on the amount of UI elements I'm seeing, spoken Japanese not too bad. Actually understanding kanji or katakana is bloody hard. They basically brute force it on kids in Japan to learn it. If you're trying to learn written Japanese so you can play this game, give up now.
I
Stop,
refuse.
Toby.
You can't make me.
I think the Eastern languages are the hardest languages to learn for Westerners.
I don't know.
I
I'm
agree.
finding it. Obviously, I'm not doing writing yet because my plan is like learn how to talk it first, like sort of like what you actually go through primary school. You start to learn it, how to speak it, then you learn how to write it and spell it, and then punctuate properly, grammatically.
I have a friend at work who's he speaks Japanese and he reads Japanese as well because his wife is Japanese, and from having watched a lot of subbed anime, I understand a lot of phrases now, and I can listen to conversation and understand what roughly is being said. But then you see all like the written form, you're just like, that could be anything. It looks like 20 other characters.
It looks like talismans from the Jackie Chan Adventures.
It probably is.
One more thing.
It probably says
his teeth.
It probably on all of the talismans in the Jackie Chan Adventure. Actually, if you put them together, it spells out "stupid foreigner" in Japanese or something. Who knows?
The one Japanese viewer is going to tell me what the game was about has just gone because I'm talking about the Jackie Chan Adventures. And
he's just gone.
No. We have to email Jackie Chan himself now.
Yeah, I'll send him a message on
Twitter.
Twitter.
He doesn't return my calls anymore.
I'll slide in his DMs.
Okay, well, I want to make a request that you take both these things off your wish list, Toby.
Until you're fluent in Japanese.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay, here's the thing though. Like last episode, I was talking like how bad like the wish list and like remembering games on Steam are. I use the wish list just like store information,
just to save things.
There's no way I'd remember this otherwise.
Because I put like Star Trek Online on my wish list, even though it was free to play, just because I wanted to save it, because I wanted to play at some point, but not at that exact moment. Like I wish there was a button that was like, it had add to wish list,
or a like
follow,
button.
Not interested, or just I am interested in this, without adding it to your wish list or following it necessarily. It's just something that saves it somewhere.
Does follow not do
No,
that?
follow gives you annoying updates.
Every time they post updates, like new community update, new
Good God, that is terrible.
Thing.
Okay,
well, this is why I'm like Steam, add more desktop stuff and stop fucking about with controllers and shit.
I like Waggleware. Waggletastic.
Waggletastic.
But I think that's the end of the show.
I think we've got the name for the episode today as well. Waggletastic.
Waggletastic. If you enjoyed this episode of Romance in the Three Kingdoms Make Peter Molyneux edition, you can follow me on Twitter at Scorn2000 or my YouTube channel, Scorn. And of course, the video versions that will be edited with the images will be posted on the podcast YouTube channel and everything in between podcast, and the audio versions will be somewhere because we've run out of SoundCloud space, so we still need to find a solution for that. But I have been Joe, and those are my plugs. Do you have anything to plug, Daniel, or say?
No, not this week. I think I've been Dan Brace. You can find me at McBrace on Twitter.
Do you have a Twitter?
I have a Twitter. I don't
follow
use
you on Twitter.
Nobody follows me on Twitter.
Well,
I once had. Like, this is an interesting story, but not that great. There used to be a bug on Twitter. I found out about that existed for 2 days when everyone knew about it. Where if you put like an exclamation mark ahead of an @ symbol, you could force someone to follow you on Twitter. So for 2 days, Hayley Williams was following me, and that was a crowning achievement of my life.
Did she unfollow you?
Yes. I think they basically ran a massive script that just rolled back a bunch of stuff. So, yeah. In fact, why not? I'm going to plug Hayden Williams. Go check her out.
Is Paramore still a band?
Yeah, she got married recently, so my life is officially over now. So
no. I know that Gorillaz are making a new album this year. They said.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, that's cool.
It's a good deal.
Listen to the Gorillaz. They're my favourite band. But,
Gorillaz are really your favourite band, are they? Oh, nice. And okay, so I guess we come now to Toby.
Oh, my plugs.
Who we forgot at the beginning of the show. Yeah, you actually, we will allow you to say things.
you think I have plugs? I just end. I'm just this anonymous person.
But you only have 30 seconds because I'm sat in an awkward position not to squeak my chair. I need to go to the bathroom.
No, I'm done. I have no plugs. I've been.
Oh, what's happening to me? There's some kind of weird static. I can't.
We love Peter more than you.